Hello, and welcome to gusmcdoll Strategy and Tactics, and thank you to our subscribers. In this series, we use the missions in the game Firefight to illustrate one or more aspects of World War II infantry tactics at the company level and below. In this campaign, we're playing through the Battle of France as the French, with 8 battles over the course of May and June 1940. Everyone knows about the historical outcome, a French operational and strategic defeat at the hands of the Germans. But I want to see if the French, using historical weapons, tactics, and doctrine, can defeat the Germans at the tactical level. In this episode, Recapture of Villers-Bocage, we must recapture the town of Villers-Bocage, which has recently fallen into the hands of the enemy. Villers-Bocage is a small rural town surrounded by gently sloping hills and woods. It consists of a central marketplace and dense terraced housing. Each episode, we conduct basic mission analysis, develop and analyse possible courses of action, then decide and execute the plan in real time, followed by lessons learned. Please remember to like the video and subscribe for more great strategy and tactics content. And if you want to buy me a coffee, the links to PayPal and Patreon are in the description. The evacuation of Dunkirk is complete, but the northern front is lost. The Germans are now positioning to push south. We must attack and keep them off balance. This is a map of the battle space, overlain with terrain features in red. If you're interested, these maps are available in the game folder. Surrounded by open farmland, the town of Villers-Bocage is mostly flat, with a ridge to the northwest providing some high ground. There are some farm buildings on a rise to the northeast. A large town square dominates the eastern end of town, and a park with a lightly wooded hill is to the southeast. Long streets meet in crossroads. Houses line the streets with large gardens in the rear. The houses, fence lines and gardens restrict observation, leading to short-range engagements within each block. However, the long streets culminating in crossroads are natural fire lanes. Within each block, the houses provide cover from direct and indirect fire, with the gardens providing concealed approaches. In peacetime, the town would be easy to navigate, but the key obstacles to military movement in the town are the streets, which are likely to be covered by fire. Crossing them is dangerous, moving along them suicidal. The crossroads are key terrain. The long fields of fire allow them to dominate the approaches, and the clumps of buildings can act as bunkers. The hill to the southeast is also key terrain as it provides observation over the immediate area. The ridgeline is decisive terrain. Anyone on the high ground can observe and fire in both directions along the east-west road and down the road to the south. I have marked 3 avenues of approach. On the left, moving either side of the street up to the crossroads and the ridge. On the right, moving behind the hill. The French are attacking from the south, and the Germans are to the north. Otherwise, I have no information on German strength or dispositions in the town. But I expect the Germans will make the most of the high ground, the fire lanes down the streets, and the cover provided by the buildings. They are likely to anchor their defensive position with infantry holding the crossroads. The infantry will be supported by tanks or guns firing down the long roads. A machine gun to the flank could fire across the front of the infantry position, and mortars to the rear behind the high ground. I do not know the forces at my disposal until the mission starts. From previous battles, I will assume I have some infantry squads with machine guns, a mortar, and some armour. The first course of action is a flanking manoeuvre to the right flank. Armour will secure, then provide overwatch from the hill. Using the hill as terrain shielding, the infantry will then advance to the eastern edge of the town square and from there to the north, thus controlling the town square and eastern end of town, cutting off and isolating the Germans. This approach is known in French as a coup de main. The term means a blow of the hand, and it refers to a swift attack that relies on speed and surprise to accomplish its objectives in a single move. In some ways, the opposite of bataille conduite, the carefully orchestrated, methodical battle. This is exactly the kind of approach I would normally choose to dislocate the enemy, outflanking them and making their defensive positions irrelevant. But this plan would leave the Germans in the town, and our orders are clear. Recapture Villers-Bocage. To recapture the town requires us to clear it of German forces. That's right, urban clearance. So, the second course of action is necessarily predictable. The infantry will advance through the houses and gardens to the crossroads. They will take the crossroads, then the ridgeline, and from there clear the remainder of the town. Armour will remain mobile and move to provide fire support as required. The mortar will remain in the rear. This plan could see slow going and heavy fighting through the crossroads. The key will be the fire support provided by armour at critical moments, suppressing the Germans and allowing the French to advance. Chapter 5 – Relative Particularities in Offensive Combat with Battle Tanks. Article 1 – Mixed Infantry Tank Groups. Tanks allow attack echelon units faster progress due to the particularly effective fire support they bring and the morale effect produced on the opponent. Let's position our forces for battle. There is the primary objective, perhaps a command post around the farm buildings. And the intermediate objective, the crossroads leading to the town square. Let's review our forces using the information panel on the bottom right of the screen. This shows soldier statistics and vehicle controls. Unit 1 is a Char B1 bis with a 25mm SA-35 howitzer, 47mm SA-35 gun and rifle machine gun. It is commanded by Lieutenant Santos. Unit 2 is a Renault AMR-33 cavalry reconnaissance tank with a rifle machine gun. It is commanded by Sous-Lieutenant Guillemont. Unit 3 is a Panhard AMD-178 with a 25mm SA-35 gun and rifle machine gun. It is commanded by Sergeant Paquette. Unit 4 is also a Panhard AMD-178 with a 25mm SA-35 gun and rifle machine gun. It is commanded by Lieutenant Sergeant. He is in overall command of the operation. Unit 5 is an infantry section commanded by Sergeant Guillot. The section has an FM-24-29 light machine gun, Berthier M1916 carbines, MAZ-36 rifles, F1 grenades, and a VB grenade launcher with 12 rounds. Unit 6 is an infantry section commanded by Sous-Lieutenant Parmentier. Unit 7 is an infantry section commanded by Sous-Lieutenant Valette. Unit 8 is an infantry section commanded by Sergeant Monnier. Unit 9 is an infantry section commanded by Sous-Lieutenant Godard. Unit 10 is a medium mortar team armed with a Brandt Model 2731 81mm mortar with 60 rounds. The team is commanded by Soldat Grand. Unit 11 is an anti-tank rifle team commanded by Sergeant Dubois. The team is armed with a 55 caliber Boys anti-tank rifle with 40 rounds. And so we begin. The infantry move into position to begin the urban clearance. Single file either side of the street. Standard World War II French doctrine for urban combat. All is quiet. The Germans could be anywhere.
Get down!
Or just there.
Get down! Get down!
Firing breaks out and the Germans reveal their positions.
Get down!
Some in the houses around the cross streets, others using the long streets as fire lanes. This will be a long fight.
Open fire!
On the left, the tanks start receiving fire from an anti-tank gun. The mortar opens a fire mission at 349 metres. The other German unit is pouring machine gun fire down the street. The tanks back out of the lane and move into the fields. The first casualty, a Soldat Berlin, is severely wounded by a ricocheted bullet in the abdomen. The tanks are safely back, but Sergeant Paquette's Panhard AMD 178 seems intent on moving forward and getting into a standing fight with an anti-tank gun. Not a fight he wins. His AMD 178 is destroyed by an APCR shell through the turret lower front. Soldat Chardon is killed by a ricocheted shell splinter in the abdomen. Paquette and Caporal Pinson are both wounded by ricocheted shell splinters in the head. The crew bail out. A German shell lands a few metres from the tanks. They are getting the range. Not a place to be. The tanks advance across the field. Sous-Lieutenant Vallette's infantry also advance. The French mortar continues to adjust fire onto the anti-tank gun position. Guillot advances his section into the nearby building. The French on the left flank are in an artillery target area and need to move fast. Lieutenant Sergent's AMD 178 moves up to outflank the crossroad. The other tanks and infantry follow. Another German shell slams in, right into the position Vallette's section just left. The three tanks establish flanking fire support positions on the crossroads. The infantry follow slowly.
Open fire!
Lieutenant Santos's Char B1 bis now moves to outflank the anti-tank gun. The other two tanks positioned to provide fire support to the infantry. The Char B1 bis cuts through a park. Soldat Louis is killed by an artillery shell blast to the head. Villette orders the rest of his section to move. Godard does same. The Char B1 bis emerges from the park. Santos identifies the mystery unit as a Panzer 35T. Soldat de Mortier in Sergeant Guillot's section is severely wounded by a ricochet bullet in the right leg. Santos fires and misses. The Panzer registers the threat and backs up behind the ridgeline, its front to Santos. A real tank duel. Meanwhile, the first round of Fire for Effect destroys the 5cm Pak 38 with a mortar shell blast. The French tanks now have freedom of movement on the western street. The Panhard AMD 178 and the Renault AMR 33 both advance to better firing positions. Villette and Godard order their sections across the street to set up a base of fire. Santos' Char B1 bis wins the tank duel and destroys the Panzer 35T by APC shell through the turret lower right. The French now outflank the main German defensive position at the crossroads. The plan is to roll them up west to east. Reinforcements have arrived in the form of two Schneider AMC P16 half-tracks. The mortar opens a fire mission on the closest German infantry section.
Open fire!
The mortar shifts fire to infantry in the open. Unit 12 is a Schneider AMC P16 half-track armed with a turreted 37mm SA-18 gun and rifle machine gun. It is commanded by Sous-Lieutenant Corps. Unit 13 is also a Schneider AMC P16 half-track armed with a turreted 37mm SA-18 gun and rifle machine gun. It is commanded by Lieutenant Launay. Corps takes his half-track to support the French on their right flank. Launay plans to move his half-track in a big encircling movement to put pressure on the Germans from the rear. The first German squad at the crossroads position is under pressure and starts to withdraw. Time to move up the firing line. Sergeant Guillou's section advances. Godard's section also. Valet's section clears the buildings at the crossroads. Launay's P-16 now starts his flanking movement. The tanks are putting a lot of pressure on the Germans at the crossroads, with not a lot of return fire.
Hold your fire!
The French infantry on the right flank start to move in. Launay takes his P-16 to the top of the hill for a look around. The noose slowly tightens on the crossroads. The tanks are putting down intense fire while the infantry slowly advance. but the Germans are fighting back. On the right flank, Soldats Rossignol and Claude are killed by a grenade blast in the head and chest respectively. Valet's section prepares to clear the buildings on the other side of the crossroad. Godard also crosses the street. The German infantry appear to be falling back from the crossroads position. Soldat Rondeau in Valet's section is lightly wounded by a ricocheted bullet in the abdomen. So far, the French have consolidated their hold on the western half of Villers-Bocage and knocked out a 5cm Panzerabwehrkanone 38 anti-tank gun and a Panzer 35T. They are now clearing the crossroads, the intermediate objective. This is a good time to pause the action for now and come back to the battle in the next episode. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and donate, and stay tuned for the next episode.